Hello everyone and welcome back to our dumper series here at WHC Hire. With me today we've got our 6-ton swivel tip dumper from Thwaites, and we're going to cover all of the daily checks you should be doing on this machine to ensure it's working correctly before you start your work. Please note, if you come into any problems whilst using this machinery, you must get in contact with your local depot as soon as possible so we can ensure that the machinery is safe for you to use. On that note, let's go through our daily checks, starting with our visual checks of the machine. What we're going to do is we're going to take a nice walk around the machine and have a look to see if there's any damage that wasn't there the last time that we used it. Follow me. Like I said, we're just going to take a nice walk around the machine, checking out the skip on this side, double checking the tyres for any slashes, any damage, like I said, anything that wasn't there the last time we used it. Double checking that the mud guards are in position correctly, the stairwell and the handles are correctly in place so we can get in and out of the machine. Double checking the rear tyre as well, exactly the same. Any slashes, any damage to it, is it inflated correctly? We can do all those checks. Moving around to the rear of the machine. So here what we're looking at is double checking that the lights are intact correctly on both sides. Any other damage to the rear of the machine. And once all that's correct, we can move around and down the other side of the dumper. And as we finish down on this side, again checking the tyres, the mud guards, the exit and entrance points of the machine, and also just taking a chance to have a little look underneath to see if there's any obvious leakages from any of the articulated joint or around the swivel point of the skip. Once you're happy and you've completed those checks, we can now move on to our fluids and levels checks, which can be found underneath the operator's seat. Follow me. Now, to complete our fluids and levels checks, we need to access this port underneath the operator's seat by lifting the handle and exposing the engine. Now under here we've got a different range of things that we need to double check out. Firstly, we've got our fuel filler cap and our fuel level. We've got our engine dipstick, and if we need to refill our engine oil, the engine oil hot portal is here. Then we've got our air filter. Once we're happy with all of those fluids and levels checks, we can now move on to the final stages before we start the machine. Before we move on to that, we can lower the bonnet of the operator's seat and secure into place. Now we've done our fluids and our levels checks, we're now ready to enter the machine correctly and do our final electrical and safety checks. To do so, we need to make sure we enter the machine using 3 points of contact. Now when safely on the machine, we can double check that the linch pins on the rock bar is correctly secured on both sides. And we can also ensure that our beacons are tightened correctly. And once you're happy with that, you can sit yourself down in your seat, in your operator's seat, and you can check that the seatbelt works by releasing it and connecting it on the opposite side. Once you're happy that your seatbelt works correctly, we're just going to take our operator's key and just do our final electrical tests. And pop the key into the ignition and turn it to position 1. Now from here we can double check that our front forward facing camera works. If there's any engine warning lights that are on the heads up display. We can also check that our indicators work on the left hand side of our control panel, and just below it is our headlights that we can check also. Once you're happy with that, all your electrical tests are complete. All we need to do is double check that the beacons are working above us to show us that we're complying with the safety procedures of the machine. Remember, this articulated dumper will not move without that seatbelt engaged. Once you've completed this, your machine is ready to use for your day's work. And there you go guys, that is our daily operators checks from on our 6-ton swivel tip dumpers here at WHC Hire. Now just a note to remember, if you do come across any issues whilst doing these checks, you must get in contact with your local depot as soon as possible so we can ensure the machinery is safe for you to use. Now if you're having any problems operating any of the features on this machine, please feel free to check out the handover video we have for this machine on our website. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and until the next video, take care and bye bye for now.